Hello, everyone, and welcome to the NFL 2K1 Colts franchise. And I want to start by saying how good it feels to actually call it a franchise. Because if you guys followed the NFL 2K San Francisco 49ers season, it was just that. It was just a season. There was no franchise mode for NFL 2K. So I had to do that one season, and let's be honest, I probably wouldn't have gone further with it anyway. But it would have been nice to at least do a draft or whatever, like I did with Madden 2001. Regardless, I've got these options available to me if I choose to choose to exercise those options at the end of this season. But as you can see, I'm using the Colts, and there's a couple of reasons for it. The first reason is the Colts never won with their version of the triplets. Of course, I'm referring to Peyton Manning, Edgerinn James, and Marvin Harrison. It was almost a carbon copy situation of the Dallas Cowboys without the stellar defense. Now, they obviously won once Edgerinn James left. I believe Joseph Adai was their starting running back. So Edgerinn James never won a Super Bowl. He came very close, however, with the Arizona Cardinals. And that was, of course, with Kurt Warner, Bolden, Fitzgerald, and they lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers, one of the most controversial games as well. I remember that quite specifically for that, with some of the calls or no calls. That was a game that James Harrison had a 100-yard interception return just before halftime, and of course you had that final drive by Roethlisberger. That was a lot of big plays. That was a very memorable Super Bowl. So for that reason alone, that completely justifies selecting the Colts, trying to get Edgerinn James his first Super Bowl championship, ironically only in his second year. The other reason I wanted to go with them is I saw some parallels between NFL 2K series and the Indianapolis Colts. And I know that might sound like it's a bit out there, but bear with me. And what I mean by that is NFL 2K, there was a lot of attention on it. We saw the build up, but there wasn't a whole lot of expectations. I don't think anybody in their right mind was expecting them to go from 3-13 to 13-3. Right, that's a huge turnaround. I mean, you just don't see that in the National Football League all that often, especially with a young nucleus. By the way, too, sometimes you'll see that with veterans or whatever when they're decimated by injuries. But you very rarely see it with a bunch of young players. Now, the parallel that I have with NFL 2K is that a lot of people had high hopes for it, but not high expectations early on. They thought, well, maybe this is something that could challenge Madden. Because we had seen, Game Day, we had seen some 989 sports titles come out, but you never saw anything truly challenge Madden. Madden was the king. And at this point, it still was the king. However, there was hope that maybe the 2K series could be the one that could eventually stand up and be the great challenger to Madden. However, a lot of people thought, just give it some time. They weren't expecting it to be that quickly. They didn't expect NFL 2K to essentially knock off Madden 2000 as being the premier football title. So there were a lot of expectations leading into NFL 2K1 and the Colts in 2000. And that's why I thought there was some parallels there. I know that might sound a bit far-fetched. Believe me, it makes sense in my mind. But all you guys have to really pay attention to is what happens on the field. And I was really, really excited because I never played NFL 2K. I never played any of the 2Ks. They weren't available in Australia on the Dreamcast. They never got a power release. And same with the NBA. NBA 2K got a power release, but 2K1, which is head and shoulders above 2K, never got a power release. People had to import it and ship their Dreamcasts to actually play it. And it's just insane to think that they missed out on such huge markets because they didn't just convert it from NTSC to PAL. It blows my mind. I know the Dreamcast didn't do that well in Australia and Europe, but still, that's a huge audience. Another thing to keep in mind too, this is the last football game made by Sega Sports on the Dreamcast. That's insane to me. Think about this. They marketed Sega Sports so it was such a huge marketing campaign for it. They released the black the black Dreamcast, with NFL 2K1 and NBA 2K1. This was massive for them. And yet, once they ceased production on the Dreamcast, that was it. They didn't release NFL 2K2 or NBA 2K2 on the Dreamcast. They were released on the PS2, on the Xbox, and also on the GameCube, I believe. But that was it. And I think that was a massive kick in the balls to fans of that series that had actually invested in a Dreamcast. Probably a lot of them were PlayStation fans the generation prior to, or maybe Nintendo fans the generation prior to. So they would have made a leap of faith with Sega to try these games out, and that's it. They were left out in the cold once again by Sega. So that to me is something a bit of trivia that blows my mind. Another bit of trivia which I posted on Instagram was I was going through the instruction book, and of course Tom Brady's not in this game. However, I should clarify that because he is in the game as a motion capture talent. He was used for motion capture. He's obviously not on the roster for the Patriots. But to me, that is absolutely incredible. That the greatest quarterback of all time, we all know his story, drafted in the 6th round, 199 or whatever he was. Drafted really late, let's just put it that way. The greatest draft pick in any sports, right? But let's not pretend that the Patriots are geniuses with this either, by the way, because if they knew what they were getting with him, they wouldn't have waited to the 6th round. They just rolled the dice and risk-reward. It was a 6th round pick. Well, let's see what he can do. And he turned out to be something really special. Regardless, look at what he has turned out into from where he actually began. And this is his first video game appearance, and he's not even in the game. He's just the motion capture guy. That to me is... that blew my mind when I was going through the instruction manual and I saw motion capture, because the motion capture talent was Randy Moss and a few others. But there is Tom Brady's name sitting right there. That to me was insane. And if you want to check it out, just go to the Instagram link in the bio section of my profile on my channel on here, and it's right there. But anyway, I've gotten way off topic as I usually do with these things. I couldn't wait after NFL 2K, that NFL 2K season, to see if NFL 2K1 delivered and improved itself. I know people said it did, because I looked up the reviews and everything like that to see what people were actually saying at the time, to get a feel for what they were saying at the time. And they're saying it was the greatest football game ever made. And after playing it, I can see why they were saying it. And boy, oh boy, was this the golden era or what when it came to sports video games, especially football video games. Because you had this, and you had Madden 2001 that had just come out on the PS2. Once again, I played Madden 2001, and recorded it, did a season with Terrell Davis, set the rushing record with him. He was the MVP of the regular season as well. Got them all the way to the Super Bowl as well. So if you want to check that out. But that is very fresh in my mind as to how good Madden 2001 was at its time. And isn't it incredible? Doesn't that show you how bad football games are at this point? That somebody who never played these games, these were way before my time, by the way, never played these games, but can go back, and I could easily go on EA Access right now and download Madden 19 or whatever, at least get 10 hours out of it, right? And I couldn't be bothered, because it's just been such a bad, stagnant product for so long. Instead, I go and buy a Dreamcast, or I go and buy a PS2 like I did when I was back in Australia, and I play full seasons of franchise mode, because it's more fun back then. I don't even know how half these players are, to be honest. I like to think that I know a lot of them. I obviously know who Edgerinn James is and Peyton Manning, but I don't know. I couldn't name 2 guys off their defense before I started this, and I'm sure a lot of people my age are the same. Regardless, as I said, talk too long, way too long. I will probably adopt the same strategy that I'm doing now, and I actually started with NFL 2K, where I play the first 5 or 6 games regardless of who is on the schedule. But if I find myself dominating, I'm 6-0, 5-1, or whatever, I have a comfortable lead, I might sim some of the boring games just to get them out of the way, because I don't think a whole lot of people want to see me run up 38-3 scores. I mean, I don't even want to play that. I want to play close games, and so far so good. But if they are close and competitive games, then I see no reason to do that. But if they are becoming a bit of a joke, then I'm not going to do that. Anyway, guys, as I said in the Chicago Bears, excuse me, that's my mobile phone. Oh, I should say my cell phone. I'm in the United States. That is my cell phone notification. But as I said in the Chicago Bears video, look, I have all the 2Ks. I have quite a lot of the Maddens. If you have suggestions for me to do seasons with particular teams, just let me know. I'm happy to do it. And once I go through all these, I'll be going back to this. I want to go back to NFL 2K. I want to maybe go back to Madden 2001. It doesn't have to just be one team that I do and then that's it. It goes, it gets thrown out. The only exception is Madden 2008. I will never play another game of Madden 2008. The way that finished was just perfect. I couldn't have scripted it better. Sean Taylor getting 2 interceptions on Tom Brady. His final play, not his final play, but he did get an interception return touchdown in the game that really swung the game. And then his final defensive play was intercepting Tom Brady. So I've spoken about Tom Brady more than I have about Peyton Manning in this video. Isn't that funny? But anyway, let's see what I can do with this Colts team. And let's see how good the franchise is as well. I might stick around with this because this is, I believe, because this came out maybe around the same time as Madden 2001. It would have been close. That and Madden 2001 would have been the first time. Actually, no, I tell a lie. Madden 2000 on the PlayStation 1 had franchise mode. Regardless, this is the first time 2K has had a franchise mode. So let's check it. We'll check it out. We'll see what the features are. I will definitely be, at the end of the season, regardless of what the results are, I will definitely be doing a summary. Not a summary, but I'll be going through the off season. Sorry, I'm distracted now. I want to see who was messaging me. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for your continued support. If you like these videos, please subscribe. If you or send me a text message, one of the two. If you have suggestions, as I said before, please let me know. If you just feel like commenting and having a chat about, maybe it brings up some nostalgia. I had some messages. I had some people commenting that it's really brought back parts of their childhood that they grew up playing these games, and that makes me feel good. So I'm glad that I'm able to do that for you guys. And yeah, take it easy. Take it easy.
Keeps a tackle. Edwards barely gets it off. Incomplete. They've missed their target. It's off. Wriggles out of the back. 93. Comes the blitz. Crosses right. Alexander was the intended receiver on that play. Incomplete. Escapes the tackle. Beautiful. Pitches. Open field wide right. Look at the yards after the first hit. That's some power running. I got him. Stops that play before. It's picked up. Incomplete, and that's the second incompletion. Dumps it right. With the stop after several yards on the play. The Chiefs didn't make. It's away. Belzer gets it deep. Will make the tackle. And play action. He couldn't hold on to that one. Come on, pitches it. Clemens gets in. It's the end of the third quarter. The Colts currently enjoying a small advantage. 9-7. Throws. Whoa, something happened here. They're just not moving the ball like they were in the first half. It's off. 80 catches it. 45. Peterson was the left. Gets upfield. Efficient and effective running up the middle. Give him the first down. Here comes the blitz. Passes right. Dan, look at how much more. Barely gets it off. The 10. That was a beautiful catch in traffic. Great position, and they'll pick up the first.
The Colts have the ball, but it's anybody's.
On the gun. Hot on the wing. The 30. The 45. Part of everybody. He's out of bounds, and he'll have the first down.
With the completion. A gain of 10 yards to go.
Shotgun. Barely gets it off. What a way to make a big play in traffic. Yeah, I'll tell you, he reeled that one in for big yardage. First down.
Peyton really took a beating on that play, but managed to keep his fingers wrapped around the ball.
Peter, he refused to let that ball drop loose.
He really showed some grit and determination on that play. Marvin Harrison was right there in the end zone to catch the short pass. 6 points.
No one in front of him. The 2-point conversion successful.
Aggressive.
Sets up and will kick it away. It's away. Sheehy fields it deep. Makes the tackle.
Look how low this number is.
Barely gets it off. Lying down on the play. Let's get the call.
False start. Number 61 on the offense. 5 yards.
Dumps it left. Nails him after a couple of yards. Pitches. Moves wide left. 45. Morris was looking for the ball, but it falls incomplete.
Elvis Gerber.
It's intercepted. In front of everybody. Morris is really shaken up on that play. We'll get a full report as soon as possible. Manning takes a knee. Manning takes a knee. The whistle, and that's the end of the game. The Colts win a sweeper, 17-40. That wraps it up here. On behalf of myself, Dan Stevens, along with Peter O'Keefe and Michelle Westfall, and all the crew, I'd like to thank you for joining us.